The air in Allegiant Stadium was electric, you could feel it. The calendar may have said August 16, 2025, but this was more than just another preseason exhibition. This was the first taste of Raiders football for a new season. For the fans, it's a return to ritual, a renewal of hope. They pull on the silver and black jerseys, ready to believe again. The preseason is where new stories begin. It's where unheralded players get their one shot to make a name for themselves under the bright lights. It's a proving ground. Forget what the final score says. The real battles are won and lost in individual moments, in the quiet execution of a play that makes the coaches take notice. This is where a team's true character starts to form. Every snap is a test. Every throw is an audition. For the star players, it's about shaking off the rust. For the rookies and the fringe guys, it's about survival. It's about proving you belong. The Las Vegas Raiders came into this preseason with questions, particularly at the most important position on the field. Who would step up? Who would show the poise and the command needed to lead this offense? The starters played their series and headed to the sideline. The stage was then set for the backups, the players fighting for a roster spot or a place on the practice squad. This is when the real evaluations begin. This is the beauty of the NFL preseason. It's raw, it's unpredictable. One game can create a legend. It can spark a quarterback controversy. Last night's game against the Seahawks was a classic preseason affair, but one performance stood out, leaving everyone in the stadium and watching at home buzzing with a single name on their lips. That name was CamMiller. So, who is CamMiller? Let's be honest, before last night, not many outside of Fargo, North Dakota, or the most dedicated NFL draft circles knew his name. He wasn't a first-round pick. He wasn't the guy with a multi-million-dollar contract before ever taking a snap. He's an undrafted free agent from North Dakota State, a powerhouse program at the FCS level, but still a world away from the bright lights of the NFL. These are the players who have to fight for everything. They arrive at training camp at the bottom of the depth chart, knowing every single rep could be their last. They are the ultimate long shots. Miller's college career was impressive. He was a winner. He led the Bison to national championships, showcasing a knack for making the right play at the right time. He was known for his accuracy, his intelligence, and his leadership. But the knock on him was always the level of competition. Could he make the same throws against bigger, faster, and stronger defenders in the NFL? That's the question that follows every small school prospect. It's a steep hill to climb, and most don't make it. The Raiders saw enough to give him a chance, an invitation to camp to prove he belonged. And that's all a player like Miller can ask for. When you're the fourth quarterback on the roster, opportunities are scarce. You get limited reps in practice. You watch a lot of film. You spend most of your time on the sideline with a clipboard. The preseason is your Super Bowl. It's your one chance to show the coaches that what they saw on your college tape can translate to the pro game. For Miller, last night's game was that chance. He was playing with and against other players fighting for their own NFL dreams. The pressure is immense. One bad interception, one fumbled snap, and your story could be over before it even begins. That's why people are paying attention now. Miller didn't just avoid mistakes, he excelled. He stepped into the huddle with the confidence of a 10-year veteran. He looked like he belonged. In a league that is constantly searching for competent quarterback play, finding a diamond in the rough is like striking gold. It gives a team options. It provides invaluable depth. CamMiller wasn't just a camp arm last night. He was a legitimate football player, making legitimate NFL throws. He grabbed his opportunity with both hands and forced everyone to pay attention to what he could do on the field. What we saw from CamMiller wasn't flashy. It wasn't a highlight reel of 60-yard bombs and improbable scrambles. It was something far more important. It was a masterclass in efficiency. In the NFL, especially for a backup quarterback, efficiency is king. It's about moving the chains. It's about protecting the football. It's about executing the offense exactly as it's designed. Miller did all of that, and he did it with a remarkable sense of calm. He took what the defense gave him. He didn't force throws into tight windows. He simply went through his progressions, found the open man, and delivered an accurate, catchable football. It was beautiful in its simplicity. Think about what a coach wants from a backup quarterback. First and foremost, they don't want him to lose the game. That means no costly turnovers. Miller played a clean game, no interceptions, no fumbles. He showed great pocket awareness, stepping up to avoid the rush and getting the ball out quickly. His second drive was a perfect example. It was a methodical 12-play march down the field that ended in a touchdown. It consisted of short, high-percentage passes. A 5-yard out here, a 7-yard slant there. He kept the offense ahead of the chains, converting 2 crucial third downs along the way. Let's compare this to what we often see from young quarterbacks in the preseason. Many try to do too much. They feel the pressure to make a spectacular play on every down, to prove their arm strength or their athleticism. This often leads to mistakes. They hold onto the ball too long and take sacks, or they try to fit a pass into a window that isn't there, resulting in a turnover. Miller resisted that temptation. He played within himself and within the system. His poise was the most impressive thing. The moment never looked too big for him. He was in complete control, guiding the third-string offense like a seasoned pro. This efficiency matters because it builds trust. It shows the coaching staff that if he's ever called upon in a real game, he can be relied upon to run the offense and not self-destruct. It shows his teammates that he's a player they can count on to make the right decision. Last season, the Raiders struggled at times with offensive consistency. Drives would stall because of a penalty, a sack, or a turnover. Watching Miller methodically move the ball down the field was a breath of fresh air. It was a reminder that sometimes, the smartest play is the simple one, and executing those simple plays over and over is what wins football games. When you look at the box score from last night, Cam Miller's numbers just jump off the page. They tell a story of near-perfect execution. He finished the game completing 14 of his 16 pass attempts. That's a completion percentage of 87.5%. Let that sink in for a moment. In any context, at any level of football, completing nearly 90% of your passes is an elite display of accuracy and decision-making. He threw for 148 yards and a touchdown, leading the Raiders on 2 scoring drives that ultimately won them the game. His passer rating was a stellar 134.9. These aren't just good numbers for an undrafted rookie. These are great numbers for any quarterback. One moment perfectly encapsulated his performance. It was 3rd and 6 from the Seattle 40-yard line. The pass rush was closing in. Instead of panicking, Miller calmly slid to his left, kept his eyes downfield, and found his third option, a tight end, on a crossing route for a 9-yard gain. First down. The play itself won't make any season-end highlight reels, but it was a veteran move. It was the type of play that extends drives and wears down a defense. He didn't just complete the easy throws, he made the critical ones under pressure, demonstrating a mental processing speed that is essential for success in this league. Compared to the other quarterbacks who played, Miller's efficiency was in a class of its own. While the starters looked solid in their limited action, and the other backups had their moments, no one matched his consistency. There were no, "what was he thinking?" throws from Miller. Every pass had a purpose. Every decision was sound. In previous preseasons, we've seen Raiders backup quarterbacks struggle with turnovers and inconsistency, often looking overwhelmed by the speed of the game. Miller looked the opposite. He looked like he was in complete command, slowing the game down in his own mind. The statistics are a direct reflection of his skill set. The high completion percentage speaks to his accuracy. The lack of interceptions speaks to his sound decision-making. The touchdown pass shows he can finish a drive when given the opportunity. These are the tangible metrics that coaches and general managers look at when they are building a roster. They aren't just numbers. They are evidence. They are proof that a player can perform when the lights come on. Cam Miller's stat line from last night was more than just impressive. It was a statement. So what does one great preseason game mean for Cam Miller and the Las Vegas Raiders? In the short term, it means he's no longer just a camp arm. He has firmly inserted himself into the conversation for the third quarterback spot, and he might even start pushing for the primary backup role if he can stack more performances like this one. He has earned more reps with the second-team offense in practice. The coaches now know they have a player who can step in and execute. He went from being a long shot to a legitimate contender for a spot on the 53-man roster. That, in itself, is a massive victory for an undrafted player. For the Raiders, this is an incredibly positive development. Quarterback depth is one of the most valuable commodities in the NFL. We see it every year. A starting quarterback goes down with an injury, and a team season implodes because they don't have a capable backup. Discovering a player like Miller, an inexpensive young quarterback who can play efficiently within the system, is a huge strategic advantage. It provides insurance. It gives the front office flexibility. At the very least, he looks like a high-quality practice squad player who can continue to develop. And at best, he could be the team's long-term backup. This performance could be the beginning of a great story. We all love an underdog, and Cam Miller is the definition of one. He has the tools, the intelligence, and as he showed last night, the poise to succeed. The key will be consistency. Can he do it again next week? Can he continue to show the same command and efficiency against different opponents? The NFL is a "what have you done for me lately" league, and he will have to keep proving himself every single day. But he has kicked the door open. He has made his case. Ultimately, Cam Miller's preseason debut was a resounding success. He didn't just play well, he played smart. He showed the kind of efficiency and poise that every coach dreams of finding in a young quarterback. While it's important not to get carried away by one preseason game, it's also impossible to ignore what we saw. It was a glimpse of potential. It was a sign that the Raiders might have found something special in the undrafted kid from North Dakota State. For a team looking to build a consistent winner, that single, efficient performance could be a sign of very good things to come.